What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another Buffy video. I know it's been a while since I have done one of these videos, but it's been for good reason, so don't worry, because I will be doing so many more of these videos, hopefully on a weekly basis, so we can catch right up to most of the episodes of Buffy, because I know now we're only on season 1 episode 7. But like I said, there'll be plenty more breakdowns of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm also thinking about doing shorts, just with little recaps on it, so when I'm not uploading you can watch one of those. Let me know if that would be something you'll be interested in. If not, then obviously I'll just carry on doing these long type of videos for Buffy. But yeah, plenty more, and this is an exciting video because, like I said, we are on episode 7, which is called Angel. And let's just pretend that we haven't seen Buffy before. And I know some of you haven't, so that's probably a good thing. Let's just go back to 1997 when this episode aired and pretend that we are all shocked that Angel is a vampire. Now, I'll give you all a minute just to take all this information in. Yes, Angel is a vampire, like we didn't already know, but this is the episode that we realised that this mysterious guy that's been stalking Buffy all this time since she arrived at Sunnydale is in fact a vampire. Now, it wouldn't be a Buffy episode if we weren't starting off at the Bronze, of course. I feel like at this point a lot of episodes do start at the Bronze, and unlike the recent episode, which was the Pact, this one is focusing on vampires again, so we're not going to any other mysterious evil creatures. We are back to vampires, and we're now at the Bronze, where all the young teens get to basically hang out, have drinks, and pretend like they're adults for the night, basically. And we have our heroine Buffy talking to Willow, and she is basically gushing over Angel the whole time. She's talking about her crush. She just can't stop talking about Angel, basically. And as we know, Willow is completely invested in Buffy's love life, and I don't know if this is because Willow's crush, which we all know is Xander, is basically nowhere to be found, and he keeps basically blowing Willow off. So she's just full on whatever this Buffy ride is with Angel, and she just wants to know everything about him, as friends do. He's basically talking about Angel the same way that every teen girl talks about her high school crush, and I'm pretty sure she even says hunk at one point. She calls him a hunk, and who can blame her, because Angel at this point in 1997 was pretty much most girls' dream guy. Obviously not for me, because I was under the age of 10. But as I got older, I'm not gonna lie, I did have a crush on Angel as well. So yeah, that's pretty normal. However, it wouldn't be Buffy if there wasn't a slight little twist. So everything that Buffy really likes about Angel, we soon find out in this episode that it all goes downhill, where she finds out basically Angel's dark secrets, and this mysterious guy that she thought Angel was is now someone she is supposed to hate just because he's a vampire. But obviously, as we know from later episodes, Angel isn't like a normal vampire because he has a soul and he's good. But then Buffy and Angel go out to the alley just outside the Bronze, and then the 3, which is the Master's handpicked team of vamps, attacks them. Buffy, of course, does everything in her power to help Angel, who, as we know, has been helping her this whole time, and she obviously wants to protect him because she has this instinct to protect her friends, and obviously Angel, who is her. Then we see Angel and Buffy rush to Buffy's house, and she basically tells Angel to get in, you know, to come in. She's basically giving him that invitation that he can enter her house without her knowing. and they basically hide out there from the three who are after. Buffy then basically tells Angel to strip. Well, she tells him to take his jacket off and his shirt so she can obviously look at his wounds and help him heal his wounds. What am I even saying? Help him heal his wounds. As most teen programs do, you see someone get into a fight or whatever, they go back home, the guy basically strips and he's got these abs, and she's just there, you know, ready to obviously help the poor guy. And this is a great way for her to find out more about Angel and have this intimate moment together, because it is an intimate moment. He's basically topless, she's helping him out, and now they're having this heart to heart. And then, as we know, Buffy's all about taking her clothes off around Angel. She basically tells him to turn around while she puts on her pajamas, and mind you, they are the cutest pajamas that she could have found. And Angel is basically going to sleep next to her on the floor because, I mean, he's a vampire, he can sleep on the floor, right? And I found it interesting that Angel is basically sleeping next to her on the floor while she's on the bed, which kind of, in a way, signifies that loyal companion kind of role. You know, like when you have a pet or a dog or something like that, and they lay next to you on the floor, it's almost like they're protecting you, so they're on guard kind of thing. And it's that kind of secure sort of security moment where he's been very protective of her, so that's why he's sleeping next to her on the floor. At the end of the day, Angel is an animal, right? He's a vampire, he's not human, he might have a soul, but he's still an animal, and he's still going to have this instinct about him, and also this protective nature over Buffy. And then it's the next morning where Buffy heads to school and she basically meets up with the Scooby Gang, which is Xander and Willow, and she's obviously dishing all about Angel and then the previous evening. And then we see her go home and Angel is still obviously there. And obviously we know he's a vampire, so we know that he can't go out during the daytime because he's a vampire. So obviously he's had to hide out at her house until the night. And Buffy knows this with the three because she knows that obviously they're vampires and they can't go out during the daytime, but she doesn't sort of realise why Angel is still there. So I don't think she finds it quite weird that he's been there the whole day, even though she's had to go to school, and she doesn't think why he wouldn't just go home and hide out, but he's still in her bedroom. I think Buffy was just assuming this guy was just really interested in her because he's hiding out at her house all day long, rather than going back to his own place where he could do the same thing if he was a human being. But because he's a vampire, he can't leave her house until the evening. And we come to the point where Buffy and Angel basically can't fight their attraction for each other anymore, and Angel just can't help himself and he kisses Buffy. And this is like the moment that we've all been waiting for, Buffy's all been waiting for, and the two finally get together in obviously a small way, but they still get together and Angel and Buffy finally kiss. It's kind of been leading up to this moment because we knew that she had a crush on him. We knew that Angel liked her, but it was just a matter of when will they actually hook up, when will they kiss, and when will they tell each other that they like each other. And then, as we find out after the kiss, which is probably one of the most epic kisses in television, especially back in the 90s, because it's not just a kiss and that's it. Angel kisses her, he pulls away and basically reveals that this mysterious man that she's been thinking about, crushing on, having feelings for, is not a man after all. He is a vampire, as obviously we all knew, but Buffy didn't know, and we're 7 episodes in. So obviously this is going to come as a shock to her because she is the Slayer. This is her job, this is her duty. You know, she's the chosen one to kill vampires, and now the guy that she is falling for is indeed a vampire. But obviously something about Angel doesn't add up, especially to Buffy, because although he hasn't given her the impression that he is a bad guy or that he wants to hurt her or whatever, it's the fact that to her all vampires are going to be evil. And it's strange that this vampire has a soul and he's different from other vampires, because obviously she's never come across that before. So this is obviously a shock to her, and it's something that she has to now figure out. But as we know from Giles, he basically says, a vampire isn't a person at all. It may have the movements, the memories, even the personality of the person it took over, but it's still a demon at its core. And that's something that he's been obviously trying to put into Buffy's head, that although a vampire might look like a classmate, a friend, a family member, or someone she knows, it's in fact not that person anymore. It is a evil creature, it's a demon who might resemble the person, might act like the person, but deep down, obviously, without it having a soul, it's not going to be that person. But Angel has a soul, so that's what makes him different. What I like about this episode is we find out more about vampires, about the history. We go into more detail about vampires that we probably didn't know before. We also find out that Darla, who is the Master's right-hand woman, basically knows Angel, and they go way back. So they have this history between them. So you're kind of in this episode now connecting all the pieces of how everyone knows each other, why Angel is now trying to protect Buffy, why he's trying to go after other vampires, because there is this history and this link between all of them that obviously we didn't know before. And as Buffy probably just assumed, you know, why is this guy wanting to help me when there's no connection there? He's just going to end up getting himself hurt. But now we're sort of slowly finding out more and more about vampires, about the history, and about obviously the history of the Slayer as well. We also learned that Angel does know the Master as well. There's a history between the Master and him, which is why he's so interested in helping Buffy against the Master. And why he knows so much about the Master. Obviously we know Giles knows all this information because that's his job, he's the Watcher, he learns about it, but I don't think Buffy realised why someone who had no connection or interest would know so much about you know, the Master and Darla and things like that. And we're slowly starting to learn that. And we also learned that yes, Angel does not kill humans or feed directly off humans to survive. He does still consume human blood in a different way. So he obviously doesn't, like I said, go out and do what typical vampires do, but he still does consume human blood to obviously survive. That's, you know, how he's going to be able to survive. But he has a soul, so he's not going to go and kill a human or turn a human into a vampire just to feed. And he obviously prefers the bagged kind, so he gets his blood supply from the hospital, and that's how he consumes it, and that's how he stays alive. And we also find out that Angel is 240 years old, who practically is now going to date a 16-year-old, which obviously is strange, and of course it'll be a shock to Buffy as well. And as the Master once said, Angel is one of the most vicious creatures that he's ever come across, because later on in Buffy, in future episodes, we will sort of look into more of the history of Angel. There'll be flashback episodes, and we find out that he was this ruthless killer vampire who, when he got his soul, he obviously turned good, but he was literally one of the baddest vampires there was. Which is interesting to see how he changes into the, you know, the Angel that we know now, and then obviously in later episodes how he kind of goes back to that, but I'm not going to get into that now because I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't seen it. And what I also like about this episode is that the writers definitely, you can tell that they put a lot of effort into Angel's backstory, because we're now finding out that he was a bad guy before, but he just seems so good, and it's like, how can that be? How can someone who seems so good, who doesn't even feed directly off humans, have been this guy that the Master and Darla know, compared to the guy that now we know with Buffy? And I like the way that they're going to unravel this in later episodes, and I really like this episode, especially after the Pact, because now we're definitely focusing on vampires, on the history of vampires, and we're sort of looking more into the backstory of Angel. and then obviously the Master and Darla and how they're all connected. So I think this episode was really good in that way. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode. It was all about Angel. It was about Angel and Buffy's first kiss. It was about Buffy finding out that Angel is a vampire, and now trying to figure out how this could be. How could she, the Vampire Slayer, start falling in love with someone who is a vampire, and how does he have a soul? So yeah, that's pretty much the episode. It's a quick one today, but it was a fun episode and I really like this one. And now we're going to start going back to more of vampire focused episodes moving forward as well. And I think this is now kind of where Buffy's starting to find its feet, with now focusing on these kind of episodes and actually building a backstory. And we're going to be seeing flashbacks rather than just going from one random sort of story to another, and introducing new monsters and creatures. So I kind of like the direction it's starting to go now, and I hope you guys do too. And if you want to see more Buffy videos, please make sure you hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment on what you thought about this episode. Did you enjoy the fact that Buffy found out that Angel was a vampire? And what did you think about their first kiss? But yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, and it'll be another Buffy video, so stay tuned and stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.